Aside from its reputation as a premier surfing destination, Siargao is also known for its vibrant culinary cuisine. Or scene, rather.
Our guest today is one of the co-founders of a restaurant that honors its diverse heritage with Filipino ingredients.
And he is also helping integrate a culinary movement that highlights local cuisine and traditional cooking. Let's welcome Ricardo Miranda de Sousa, co-founder of the Siargao-based restaurant Roots.
Whoa, yes!
Welcome, Ricardo.
But, I'm sad you didn't bring any food.
I
This
know.
is a pretty dish, and where's our dish?
You came all the way from Siargao, and look.
It's so you guys can come to Siargao and try it.
Yeah, definitely we will do that.
Okay.
We actually met in the launch of Terra Madre.
Yes.
Yeah, so I invited him over to talk about also the slow food movement that's gaining traction in Siargao.
See, this is how resourceful Mai is.
I know, right?
I love it, Mai. Good job, right?
Yes.
So tell us about Siargao's culinary scene. What's going on? Because a lot of us talk about it. There's homegrown restaurants, and what we see there too would be the foreign residents down there building amazing restaurants, bringing their own culture to Siargao.
Right. So Siargao, like you said, is much more than surfing and then the nightlife. It's a melting pot of cultures, of cultures from different parts of the Philippines and cultures from different parts of the world.
Yes.
And that is definitely reflecting on the culinary scene. You have different restaurants of all kinds of standings and levels, all kinds of culinary backgrounds. And it's really a representation of what Siargao has become and is becoming.
I love Siargao. I want to live there sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. Because
You don't need it. You
my
don't need a
job is here.
Siargao curse. You're taken.
I want to know what draws you and other foreigners to Siargao. What in particular? Why there? Of all the 7,000 plus islands we have here in the Philippines, why Siargao in particular?
Well, in my case, it was surfing. I enjoy surfing. I enjoy traveling for surf. And I was lucky that I had some friends living on the island the first time I visited. Fell in love with the island, and then reconnected with who are now my partners, and somehow we decided to open a restaurant in Siargao. Why Siargao for a restaurant? It has an incredibly rich biodiversity. You're close to the source of ingredients, and that as somebody in the industry is a privilege.
So do you guys source everything in Siargao?
Not everything. 90% of our ingredients are sourced from the Philippines, but I would say that at least 50% of what we serve comes from Siargao, especially the seafood.
Yes. Aside from the seafood, what kind of ingredients are interesting to use in Siargao? Because the three of us have been. I've never been to the market there, but I would be keen on going. However, what's endemic in Siargao that you use in, especially your restaurant?
So you find a lot of ingredients, not necessarily in the market, but you find a lot of ingredients in nature. We actually enjoy, and it's part of our process.
You have to forage.
Forage.
It's really incorporated in our process to forage. So we found some berries, some fruits, such as inyam, for instance, which is
Inyam,
similar to bugnay.
What's a bugnay?
It's
Is it a berry?
It's a very similar.
Bugnay, they can make wine out of bugnay. It's sour.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so this grows all over Siargao. It wasn't used locally, but in this foraging process that we've embarked on since we landed on the island, we discovered fruits as such. And we slowly incorporated them into the menu. So it's very interesting in that regard, being an island that is so rich in biodiversity, finding these sort of ingredients that you don't necessarily see in the market or many times are not part of even the local gastronomy. But
are you teaching the locals how to use these ingredients and elevating them to a different dining experience? Because obviously, if it's available there, they're like, oh, it's just there. We're not really paying attention to it.
I would say it's more of an exchange, not really teaching. Sometimes these ingredients were used in the past by the locals. Sometimes they give it different uses. So part of our process is understanding how those ingredients were part of the culture and part of the local daily life of the people there. And so it's an exchange, a learning process on both sides of the table. and we learn a lot from them. We like to think that they take some things from us as well. So yeah, there's
Is
definitely
there
an exchange.
something in particular you learned from the locals that really resonated with you and you want to bring back?
I think that this is not just for Siargao in particular, but from the Philippines in general. It's the culture of fermentation. That's something that
Yes.
we've really incorporated into the restaurant. We've learned it in particular in Siargao, but it's something that I think is very, very characteristic of gastronomy here in the Philippines in general.
Ricardo, what's the most surprising thing about building a life as an expat on the island, and what is the most challenging?
I think the most surprising, and it's one of the things that drew me initially to Siargao, is the community. How open the island is to people from outside. This is something very unique that you don't find in other places in the world. Something challenging, it's living in a remote place. There's, especially when you run a restaurant, logistics can be a bit of a nightmare.
Yes.
Typhoons definitely affect the arrival of ingredients, and so dealing with that, dealing with the uncertainty of timelines is definitely a challenge, but you adapt to it. Like somebody told me when we first opened the restaurant in Siargao, the island is the boss, and you learn that eventually. You cannot control times, you cannot control anything, you learn to adapt to that.
You know, tourism has clearly boosted Siargao's economy, but what do you think Siargao needs more of, and what does it have enough of?
That's a good question. It needs more sustainable development, I would say. And that comes in many forms. I'm not just talking about infrastructure, but building good, clean, and fair food systems. And that's something that we're working on with other restaurants on the island through together with Slow Food. So we definitely need more of that. Something we've had enough of was your second question, I think. I would say over-tourism. I mean,
there's
it's
also a
a
downside,
double-edged
of
sword.
course.
We
Right.
need tourism.
I was going to ask you about that because, running an F&B business,
Right.
especially in an island like this, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap to live in an island like Siargao. You've got, you mentioned logistics, getting your goods there, even you physically flying back and forth from Siargao. That costs a lot of money. And currently, of course, we are all like at the mercy of nature. What do you do when it's low season and you're not on the island? How do you sustain business?
Well, we've been lucky over the last few years that the market sort of remains the same for 10 months of the year. So our low season is very short. It's basically from June, July, and then September again is a low month. Us particularly, it's a chance to train the staff. It's a chance to go out there more, research more. Some of us take vacation actually.
I was about to say, you're gonna go back to Portugal or Spain.
I was in Portugal and Spain for 3 weeks just last month. My partners just got back yesterday from Mexico. Two of my partners are half Mexican, so they went back to Mexico to visit family and travel around. So it's a chance to reconnect with the outside world of the restaurant.
Yeah. Sorry, Monique, are you gonna ask a question? Because I have something very interesting to ask him because he's actually part Portuguese and part Spanish.
Correct.
And the Portuguese culture is very sea-based, right?
Yeah.
How do you compare the seafood culture and cuisine of Portugal to what you have in Siargao?
That's a great question.
I love this
Fred.
question.
Thank you
Actually,
so
I was like, yeah,
much.
that's really great.
That's the number one.
The seafood culture in Siargao, like in many islands in the Philippines, you eat raw fish, kinilaw.
Yes.
Crudo,
Yeah.
crudo kinilaw. We don't have that culture in Spain, or in Portugal. Sorry, in Portugal is mostly grilled fish or baked fish. So I would say that in both cultures, it's very much present in the everyday life of people. Siargao was a fishing island before it became a surfing destination. Very close to where my family is from in Portugal is also a fishing area. So you can definitely see the similarities there where lives revolve around.
In Porto, this is it.
Yeah.
This is close to Porto, Guimarães.
Guimarães,
20 minutes from Porto. but we would always spend time in the outskirts of Porto in a place called Vila do Conde.
It's quite fancy what he's talking
I know,
about.
I'm like,
I love how he says that.
Yeah.
I just want to hear him talk.
Say it again.
I don't know what he's saying, but I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, so the ocean is definitely a part of both cultures.
So would you say the food culture, the food scene in Siargao, lots of cafes, like we mentioned in our intro banter, lots of cafes, lots of new restaurants keep popping up. Would you say that's good for your business? Like you guys have a healthy relationship and helping each other? Or do you see them as like a healthy competition?
No, it's definitely good for business. The more of us, the easier it is to build the systems that I was talking about, the good, clean, and healthy food systems. So when you have more and more restaurants demanding sort of clean ingredients, organic ingredients, and all striving towards the same goal, we all benefit from it.
Okay.
So let's talk about slow food now. Do you see the slow food philosophy expanding beyond cafes and restaurants now, and like penetrating more of the local community?
Definitely. Resorts are also joining the movement. We're in conversations with a few of them to be part of our community in Siargao, and farmers. This is actually the key element of this entire chain.
Yes.
Without them, there wouldn't be clean
Also,
ingredients.
explain to our viewers what is clean food, what is food that is sustainable, and what is fair food for all.
So clean means that it's not ultra processed, that it's organic, and fair means that the conditions in which the farmers sell their products are fair to them. They establish the prices. We try not to use intermediaries between
So fair market.
the fair market.
Which is great. The farmers really
Correct.
love that.
They receive fair compensation for their work.
Correct. I have one more question regarding the slow food movement, because you've got a deluge of tourists, which is great for the economy of Siargao. However, budgets are different when people fly down there, and with all these cafes and F&B outlets popping up. Of course, the budget conscious will not necessarily go to the slow food movement, because they have, a theory that it may be more expensive than what they can afford for that particular meal. Is that? Do you think that's slowing the slow food movement?
And yeah, because to add to Ferdy's thing, I've heard some people say that like the prices of Siargao food now, it's basically like American prices.
So initially, there's definitely an entry barrier there to organic produce. But like Bacolod showed the world, it's possible to grow a movement where all businesses at all levels can benefit from it, and then eventually, if enough players are in the game, it's supply and demand.
So that's funny.
The more businesses demand organic produce, and
because we were talking about slow food, Monique and I just ordered cansi for
wow.
the show.
We were ordering.
And before the ladies ask their question, my phone is actually exploding right now.
Yeah.
Your phone's
And they're-
always
No, but they're
exploding during the
asking me
show.
about the Siargao curse. They're asking me
yeah, I actually
if
remember
you're
about this
single
too.
or not. They're like, what a cutie on your show.
Well,
I
you have
got
a lot
evidence.
of fans, Ricardo.
Yeah, but you can answer that later. We're not going to answer it now.
Right.
Yeah.
But wait, I'd like to ask you, how do you see Siargao in 5 to 10 years, like balancing, growth, tourism, sustainability? Because like you said earlier, it is overcrowded. The problem is also over tourism.
well, I think we have a very strong community that shares the same goal of growing sustainably. If that community stays strong, if all the stakeholders involved work together towards this goal, and it seems that with the new administration, that's definitely the goal. I think we can achieve the goal of growing sustainably. Everybody's welcome in Siargao, but it's important that we all stay aligned and grow with this goal in mind.
Yes,
Now, go ahead.
we're very excited about sustainability, and you being now part Filipino can
He has a Filipino
help
accent
preserve.
already.
Yeah, he has a Pinoy accent. Help preserve, what Siargao is, and to protect it for further generations.
But before we let him go,
Yeah.
for the fans
Yes.
watching you, Ricardo, where can they find you and where can they visit you in Siargao for your food?
Yes,
Not for you, for your food.
For the food, yeah.
You can find us along Tourism Road. That's the main road
Yeah.
in Siargao. There's no numbers, no street numbers in Siargao. So it's a long tourism road at the bottom floor of a resort called Kaimana.
Yes.
So you can find Roots and Brunch. Brunch is our morning concept where we serve the same under the same philosophy, a more relaxed.
Yeah. His
food
friend
concept.
from Kaimana was supposed to be here with us.
They're all
boy,
listening for it. He wasn't lying.
I'm not lying. People are texting me
I'm
live right
dying.
now.
I don't want to say anything because it's kind of
Somebody's
all nasty,
saying-
So what are they
nasty.
saying for me?
Set me up. Is he single?
And people saying, you know what "sharap" means?
Shut up.
Sarap.
Sarap, yeah, I know
But
what's
in a
sarap.
different way, "sharap."
So what's the answer?
I am married.
Very much married.
Guys. Wah, wah.
Happily married for 6 years. My wife is Filipina. She's
Any
from Manila.
kids?
One daughter, almost 3 years old.
He's got good taste. He got married to a Filipina.
Yeah.
She's from Manila, though.
That's why they
but,
moved here to the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Ricardo, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Ricardo. Ricardo Miranda de Sousa, co-founder of Siargao-based restaurant Roots.
And taken and married.
Taken and married. Sorry, folks. Those of you guys are DMing me right now. Go.